Hi, Elizabeth. Hey, Dom.
Hi, Mark. Hello.
Hi, Dom.
How are you?
Doing fine. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Let's see if I can, participants. Oh, there we go. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. Those courts came out pretty good.
They did. I looked at them the other day. They look pretty professional.
Yeah. Well, you had some professional guys working on it. What could I say?
So, Elizabeth, Dom and a bunch of volunteers and some of the staff painted 4 pickleball courts inside the hockey rink.
Oh, the hockey rink. Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you had any competitions yet, or are they still drying?
No, they dried that hours after you put it down. It was really amazing how quickly they dried.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah. By the time we finished painting one coat, another guy was painting the second coat.
Oh, really?
It's that quick. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, it was good. So,
Gives another outlet to people.
yeah, it is. It is. And it's close to everything, and there's a lot of parking.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing is, Mark, it gets very hot. Ooh, it gets real hot.
Yeah. Well, we're just preparing you for going back inside in the summer in the gym.
But at least
Toughening them up.
at least inside, you're not baking in the sun, you know?
Right, right.
Yes, you won't get a sunburn.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So I heard back from both Fran and Angela, and they're both supposed to be coming on. So
Okay. And a quorum is 3?
yes, we need one more than half, and I don't count towards the
What a
quorum.
quorum.
Towards the quorum, yes.
I was just about to say a nasty remark, but
Oh.
so have you learned anything else about the next phase, Mark?
Well, yes, June 17th is the June 17th is the next date. They pushed it up a few days. Originally, it was the 20th, and they're, increasing the numbers, and so that is impacting us. We're constantly changing. Every 3 weeks or so, we're having to make adjustments. But I mean, the good thing is more things are opening up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I was just listening to the national news, and they said that, 2 weeks after Memorial Day weekend, a lot of states have seen big increases in the number of cases and hospitalizations. So it will be interesting to see what happens, what course states take over the next few weeks. I think, in my personal opinion, it's going to be really hard to reel people back in. And, once they've been given an opportunity to do something, to turn around and say, well, no, we're not going to be able, we're not going to be able to do that for another couple of months. I think it's going to be really hard.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think an uptick in cases may be the only way to convince people that these measures were necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. Oops, I just got a message from Fran.
I did too. She said she is trying to get online, but somehow there's problems.
Okay, and then I also, there was something that flashed from Angela.
She's having trouble with her system.
Okay, well, this is part of the new normal.
How often in a workday does this happen to you, Mark?
Actually, not that often, although I'm on my phone because I have a Mac at home and Zoom, upgraded to 5.0 and I can't upgrade to 5.0, so it won't let me Zoom from the computer. So what does this say? Oops. Oh, okay. Whoops. So Fran is saying that she's muted, and I'm not sure how to unmute her. I think she has to do it on her
She
end.
has to do it on her device.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to.
So if she taps her device, there should be a something that looks like a microphone, and she needs to hit on that.
Yeah. She says that she can hear me, but okay. Well, if she can hear me, Fran, I don't have the capability of unmuting you. If you can hear Dom, if you're
Hi,
working,
Fran.
if you're working from your phone, I have to swipe to the right and then hit tap to speak, and then you can speak. Oh, actually, it's swipe to the left. Oops.
Elizabeth, are you using a PC or an Apple device?
The PC.
Yeah. Now, how is it that Mark was able to rope you into this group?
It was actually Mary Jo Riley who caught me at a weak moment.
That's usually the case. That's what I've noticed. Mark, you just disappeared on my picture.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
There
There
you
he's
go.
back.
Yeah. I'm just playing around to see. Yeah, I don't have any control over. If I was on my laptop and was running the meeting, I could unmute Fran, but because I can't get the Mac to upgrade, I don't have that capability on my phone. I'm just a participant in the meeting at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not even seeing Fran as one of the participants or the attendees.
I'm not either, but that could be because there's a limit to the number of screens that the phone. Are you on your phone, Dom, or iPad?
On an iPad.
Okay.
So I could, I think I could see a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Although it does say attendees 4. Oh, that's the
Okay. Oh, Angela's raising her hand. And
Oh, okay.
wait a minute. Allow to talk.
Hello,
Oh,
can you hear me?
Hey,
We can.
Angela.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. Okay, sorry. I apparently needed to upgrade my Zoom to 5.0 and now it won't work on my laptop. So I just tried coming in on my phone. I don't know if you can see me or not. So, but at least we can hear each other.
Yeah. So Angela, you have a Mac?
I do.
Yeah, I'm having the same problem. I can't upgrade to 5.0. I hit update and it doesn't do anything.
Well, it did upgrade. It upgraded, but
Oh,
I was able to log in. Like I have it up on my computer right now. Like I have it, it's like in stereo, because it's working on my laptop, but all of the normal icons that Dom was talking about, they're not on 5.0. Like the little microphone and camera setting, like to change your background and stuff, none of that is there.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
So I don't know what's up. Sorry about that.
Can
Okay.
you guys hear me
All right.
now?
Oh, we can hear Fran.
oh, great.
Sorry, I've been trying. I've been on. I've been listening with my phone. I've heard everything you said. It will not let me talk. So I am getting off of my phone because apparently it's working through my computer.
Oh, okay,
Hopefully.
great.
Can you still hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Can you still hear me?
We can.
Yeah.
Now I see Jerry's joining us. Hi, Jerry.
All right, I'm not going to be watching people in the meet probably because I'm going to have my notes open. But just let me know if you put anything on the screen. I need to see or anything. I'll do it, okay?
Shall we call the meeting to order?
Sure.
Shall we call the meeting to order, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, let's.
Okay, so the meeting is beginning at 7:12. And I see we have Francis, Angela, look, appears that Jerry is there as well, Mark, Elizabeth, and Dominic are in attendance. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I noticed that there was one error in the minutes. It had $5,400 for the lights, and it should be another zero. It should be $54,000 for the
I thought
lights.
that was really cheap.
Yeah.
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
they did some really good negotiating.
Yeah. I actually, I did revise that already in the minutes that Fran will be signing. I did
Okay,
catch
great.
that. After I had sent it out, I did catch that.
Okay. So do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Great. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Let's move on. Do we have any citizens petitions or comments from anybody?
I do not.
Okay, how about any town council referrals, Mark?
No referrals.
All right, any correspondence? I don't have any, or communications. Okay, good. Reports, Director of Parks and Rec.
All right, so in addition to the monthly report that went out for May, I do have a few updates. We recently discovered that there are 29 dead trees around the senior center.
Oh,
And
no.
yes, and they are primarily ash trees. Emerald ash borer has killed most of the trees. And there are, I think, 8 Bradford pear trees. And the Bradford pears, we had an arborist come to look at the trees to determine what was, why the trees had died. And what he thinks, and he won't be able to tell until we actually pull a tree out of the ground, is that the wire basket, when the tree was planted, was never removed.
Oh,
And so the roots didn't have an opportunity to spread out the way they should. And they ended up kind of just growing around the trunk of the tree, and they weren't able to draw in enough nutrition to keep the trees alive. So over the course of the summer, the Parks Division is going to be removing all 29 trees, and the arborist has given us some recommended tree species to replace those. And he said that we should not do that until this winter, or until the fall, because the summertime is particularly stressful on trees. So putting trees in the ground is a bit of a risky business during the summertime. So we'll wait until fall, and I believe the burden of replacing the trees is going to fall on Public Works. And the trees have to be replaced because they're part of the site plan for the senior center. And the reason that the trees are planted, there's trees in the parking lot, is the goal is to try to reduce the amount of heat that escapes or reflects back off of the pavement. And so with trees and shading, it helps reduce some of the heat that reflects back off of the parking lots. So that was a bit of a surprise. There are still some other ash trees that are green, and the arborist said don't expect that they're going to live. He says they're probably already infected with the emerald ash borer, and it's just a matter of time. Within the next 12 to 24 months, those trees will be dead also.
Am I hearing you correctly? These are ash trees, you said?
Ash, yeah, ASH, yes. And it's an emerald ash borer that is infecting the trees. And what it does is it gets underneath the bark, and the layer where the water is absorbed from the roots and goes up to the leaves, essentially that gets cut off. So the tree doesn't get the nutrition that it needs, and the trees die.
Well, I would assume that it's important to remove them also now, so it doesn't spread any further.
Yeah, it's taken just about every ash tree that's in the area.
Wow.
And this has been a problem, this is not a new problem. This is something that's been happening probably for the last 5 or 10 years. I'm actually a little surprised of the number of ash trees that were planted. Generally, it's not recommended that you kind of create this almost like a monoculture where all of the species are identical, and they recommend not doing that just for this reason, because if you've got all the same species of trees and one becomes infected, the likelihood that the others will be infected by the same thing is greatly increased. So it's generally better to kind of mix tree species, so that if something invasive happens, then you don't lose all of the trees.
Yeah. To go back to the pear trees for a minute, Mark, is there any redress on how they were planted? Was that done by the Parks Department? Who planted them with those cages around the root balls?
I'm sure that the general contractor, subbed that out and had a landscaper come in and plant the trees. And apparently, there wasn't the supervision that there should have been when the trees were planted. And again, this is just speculation. We'll know better once the trees are pulled out.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, but the arborist felt that was most likely the case.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said they're generally a hardy tree, and it would have been something like that would have caused the tree to die, or the trees to die.
Wow.
Yeah, not good news.
No, no. Mm.
Any
And in addition,
questions or?
yeah, I was just, in addition to that, the senior center, along with the Board of Ed and the police department, have introduced a free meals program in the evenings, 2 nights a week. Tonight I was at TVCCA handing out meals, free meals, and we handed out all of the meals, and I think there was like 70 meals. And there's 3 different sites, TVCCA, Charles Barnum School, and St. John's Christian Church. The meals, the evening that the meals are served are Wednesdays and Fridays, and from 4:30 to 5:30, and they are looking for volunteers. And if you're interested in volunteering, reach out to the senior center because they are coordinating the volunteer schedule. And it's not really a heavy lift. It's like an hour and a half of your time, and you're handing out meals to folks that are in need right now. So it's a great program, and the money is all come from various grants, and we've also received a number of donations. People hear about what the senior center is doing, and they've made donations so that we can kind of extend the program. It was originally, they thought they would only have money enough to do it like 4 weeks, but they are thinking now that it's going to be able to run longer due to the donations that are coming in.
Great.
Yeah, and the chef that's doing the work is volunteering her time. She actually works at the senior center and clocks out because she's helping to prepare some of the grab-and-go meals that they're serving at lunchtime, and they're serving about 65 every day. Depends somewhat on the meal that they're serving. And so she clocks out when she's done with that, and then starts volunteering her time to make meals for Wednesday and Friday evenings. Yeah. The senior center has really, really done an outstanding job during this whole pandemic of coming up with creative ways to reach out and help those in need and the senior community.
Mark, just for what it's worth, we ran out of meals at Charles Barnum as well.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, it was about 5:10, and we packed up, and that was it.
Yeah. So, this is only, I think, the second week. And
Yep.
So I think they're still trying to figure out, well, how many meals do we need to prepare? And it may be a case where the word is starting to spread slowly, and we may see an increase in the need for meals. So hopefully they can address that and make some more meals. So I think, well, no, let me just go over. So Dom and I were talking a little bit earlier about, I guess it's phase 2, which is now June 17th. So just to kind of update everybody on what's going on at the various parks. So presently, we'll go with what's closed. There's no basketball taking place. All the backboards were taken down. The skate park remains closed. The dog park remains closed. And all playgrounds remain closed. So what is open is shelters are now open with 50% of the picnic tables in them. We've got 2 shelters at Sutton Park and a number of picnic areas down at Esker Point Beach. So we've put out half of the picnic tables. And so people can, Sutton Park is usually a popular place to rent space in the shelters, particularly this time of year for graduations and things like that. So we expect that may start to pick up. We have signs everywhere reminding people about social distancing and things like that. What is open, in addition to the shelters, is the beach is open. We do have, continue to have a park ambassador down there on the weekends. To date, we have not had any issues of reaching maximum capacity and having to turn people away. Interestingly, we got a phone call today from somebody coming from Massachusetts that was asking about Esker Point Beach and if they had to pay. And because as I understand, the beaches in Massachusetts are still closed. So it seems like a long way to drive to go to the beach. But anyway, so the beach is open, the picnic area is open at half capacity, and 2-on-2 volleyball is now allowed by the state. And as of the 17th, the full volleyball program will open up. They've allowed organized sports to start taking place. So we've got a league with, right now we've got about 50 teams participating. So, and that ranges from 2-on-2 to 4-on-4 and 6-on-6. And that will all begin on the 17th. What else is open? Tennis courts at Farquhar Park are open. And we just painted 4 pickleball courts in the rink that is between the senior center and the library. And that will be, people will be start playing pretty soon, I guess. Right, Dom?
Yeah, we played yesterday, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. And the senior center is staying partially open. There won't be any changes on the 17th. Right now, we're providing transportation for essential appointments, doctor's appointments, and to grocery stores and things like that. And as I mentioned earlier, they're continuing to serve the grab-and-go meals. We serve about 65 of those a day. Community center is going to remain closed. We will be opening it for, we're running some specialty camps, and registration for those, for some are going well, for others it's a little slow. But we will be running like a basketball camp sometime in July. There's a couple of weeks of gymnastics camp, and a couple of other smaller camps that we'll be running. We are running 2 day camps. This summer registration is slow for that. There's between like 25 and 30 people signed up each week. We're kind of a little surprised. We thought that there'd be more people. And I don't know if people are just waiting until the last minute, but we will be running 2 different camps. Mary Morrison and Claude Chester will be running camps and following all of the necessary state protocol that has been provided.
Mark,
So,
one question. I thought that initially you didn't think you'd be able to run any specialty camps. So is that a change?
it is, yes. So
great.
with the changes that are coming out, so June 17th is the next date, and then the date after that is July 6th, where phase 2B kicks in, and they're allowing organized sports and indoors and some other activities that, because of the timing of when we're running the camps, it's going to allow us to run those camps, because most of the camps weren't starting until after July 6th anyways. So that was, I guess, kind of a lucky break for us.
Yeah. Great.
But I think, summer camp is going to be much different this year than it has been in a lot of other years. And we're not expecting, big numbers, and we've canceled a number of camps already, just because it was going to be too difficult to try and run them and do it in a safe manner. So,
Mark, do we know if the playgrounds and things like that will open in phase 2B or at the phase in July, or 2 or 3?
I have not seen anything that suggested that the playgrounds would be opening. The playgrounds are super difficult to try to keep clean, because kids are touching those all over the place, and you can clean it, and 5 minutes later 2 kids have gone down, and if the germs are there, and it's just not, we don't have the manpower to spray down 19 playgrounds multiple times every day. We are, and I think I maybe mentioned this last time, we are spraying the portalets that we have at different areas. We're spraying those twice a day with a cleansing solution. We do it in the morning and we do it in the afternoon. The park staff is doing that, and those are getting sprayed 7 days a week, because we're bringing park staff in on the weekends to spray down the portalets also.
Okay. What about basketball courts and the community center activities? Like,
Yeah, I think July 6th, we'll be putting the backboards back up because the numbers that the state has provided are going to allow us to do that. And, you know, the group sizes, and they've said that organized, you know, sports would be allowed. Organized and recreational sports like basketball would be okay. You know, that could all change depending on, you know, what happens in Connecticut in the next few weeks. If we find that there's a significant increase in cases and hospitalizations, you know, the governor may decide to, you know, roll back or push out the date a little bit further. We'll just kind of have to wait and see.
yeah, and the community center activities that take place there, usually like karate and those things.
Yeah, I don't see those starting until probably September.
Okay.
We've got, like I said, we've got a few camps that are going to be running, and I think that's about all that we're going to be able to do indoors, just because of the limitation on the number of people or the allowable percentage of use of the building. You know, is still only going to be 50% for the building or a particular space. So, you know, for example, we've got a basketball camp. We've got 10 kids signed up in it. We could have more kids in that, but we're choosing not to, just because with too many kids, they're going to be standing around, and, you know, 10's a much more manageable number given the restrictions that we're having to deal with at this point.
Gotcha.
So that's it for the director's report.
Okay, we'll move along to the golf course.
Okay, so I know it sounds like the director's report carries on. No, the golf course is having a banner year. We had the best May that we've had maybe ever. We generated $170,000 in revenue, which is just a huge number. And I met with the golf pro and the superintendent, and through the first 9 days of June, we've done $60,000, and for the entire month of June last year, we did 120. So we're already tracking to be ahead of last June. So these are all good numbers, because last year was not a good year for us. We have now 240 members. Last year we had 209.
Oh, wow.
So we've got 31 new members, 31 more members. We have 75 new members. Typically we have about 25 new members a year. And we have 33 associate and associate plus memberships. So the information that I'm getting from the golf course staff is that they're seeing a lot more beginners out on the course, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Hopefully this will continue, you know, they will continue to play and become lifelong golfers and become lifelong members at Shinnecock.
Mark, are they doing any type of survey, or when they get a new member, kind of seeing how they found out? And are we the only golf course open right now?
No, there are a number of other courses open. And yes, we are surveying the new members to find out why they decided to join. And, you know, we're asking, I think it's a real short survey. It's 3 or 4 questions. And we're just trying to figure out what is driving all of these new memberships. So yes, we are tracking that.
Are there any trends that are popping up so far?
Oh, the survey hasn't gone out yet. We're,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's, I was going to send it to the Golf Advisory Board to have them look it over. I can send it also to, I will send it out to the commission to see if there's any suggestions for, tweaking a question or adding a question or something. I think it's only 3 questions. It's pretty simple, but I will send that out to this group so you all can look at it and provide any feedback.
Okay. Thank you.
I would assume you, that the feeling is, partly anyway, that by lowering the associate and prices from last year, that has something to do with it.
Yes, that and the fact that we made the decision this year to have a rolling membership season. So it used to be you signed up for membership in April 1st and it was good until March 30th of the following year. Well, with all the uncertainty, taking place in March and April, we made the decision that if somebody wanted to wait and sign up, May 20th, then their membership would be good next year until May 20th. And I think people have really, my suspicion is that people really appreciated that. In fact, we just picked up, I think, 8 memberships on Monday. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So, somebody that just is taking a membership up in June, and they've missed April and May, had they not had that option, they may have made the decision not to get a membership because they'd already missed 2 months.
Right.
So my opinion is, and I think the survey results will, certainly shed some more light on that. But my opinion is the rolling membership has helped significantly. Yeah. Yeah. Either that or everyone's spending those checks that Donald Trump is sending out. So
That's right.
on
Could be.
membership. Yeah.
Well, stimulus,
Yes. 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 Yeah. So we have President Trump to thank for that. I did want to give folks an update on the 11th fairway. As you recall, we had 21 trees that were along the 11th fairway that the arborist looked at after we received a concern from one of the neighbors of the health of the trees, and we brought in an arborist to look at the trees, and he said, yes, in fact, all 21 trees should go down. That was not quite what we were expecting. We were, I guess, expecting and hoping that, he may say 5 or 6 of the trees may need to come down, but he said he was concerned about the health of all the trees and strongly urged us to have those removed before they leafed out. So we took his advice, we removed all the trees, and as soon as the trees came down, one of the abutting neighbors to the guy that was concerned about the trees being up started complaining about the trees being down. So,
Oh, well.
yes, let no good deed go unpunished. So we removed all the trees. We've been working with Public Works. They have ground most of the stumps. They still have about 7 more to grind out. They won't be able to finish that until fall because they have now started their paving. And I think they had 11 paving projects or something like that around town. We did have a Golf Advisory Board meeting on, I think, the 1st of June, and one of the abutters had contacted the mayor and the town manager and, was gravely concerned about, they've seen an increase in the number of golf balls that have hit their house. They had a window broken due to a golf ball striking the window. And so we are going to start replacing trees. As you recall earlier, I mentioned the arborist said, don't put trees in the summertime. we are probably going to put in about 5 of the 20 trees that the arborist has recommended go back in. And we're doing that because if we don't do anything over the course of the summer, I'm sure that the neighbors are going to complain that we should be putting trees in now. You know, what I don't, I'm not sure that they've grasped is that the 12-foot tree that we put in is not going to provide the protection that the 60-year-old tree did prior to removal. But we are committed to replacing the trees and are going to begin that, like I said, this summer. I don't want to spend the money. Each tree is around $300, and I don't want to spend $6,000 and jeopardize losing a whole bunch of trees. So we're gonna put in a few to try to walk that tightrope of satisfying the neighbors without, looking at losing a lot of money because we couldn't care for the trees the way they needed to be during the summer. So.
And you mentioned that there's an advisory board opening?
There is, yeah. So Jim Commercia was on the Golf Advisory Board. He was the representative for the Parks and Rec Commission, and I think that's under new business. I'm hoping that somebody would step up to fill that position. So I think that's about it for the golf course, unless anybody has any questions.
Okay, Trails Coordinating Task Force.
Yeah, that group meets quarterly, and there is a meeting next Thursday. So at the next commission meeting, I'll be able to provide an update. We actually used to have a representative from the Parks and Rec Commission that attended, and that was June. She attended the Trails Committee meeting, or the Trails Coordinating Task Force meetings. So that only, like I said, that only meets 4 times a year. So if somebody is interested in that, it's usually the 3rd Thursday of every 3 months, and the meeting's at 4 o'clock, usually at the senior center. But for the interim, it's going to be a Zoom meeting. And essentially, the Trails Coordinating Task Force was put together just before I got here, and there's representatives from Groton Open Space, Avalonia, Tri-Town Trails, and we all just kind of share information on what's happening within each of those different organizations as it relates to trails.
Okay, athletic fields.
The Athletic Fields Task Force continues to meet every couple of weeks. I have not attended any of the meetings, but their primary goal is to kind of work through the shortages of fields that have been identified and come up with a specific number, and I think also identify potential locations for the fields. And I believe their goal is to have this wrapped up prior to the budget season for fiscal year FYE 22. So I think their plan is to be wrapped up by September or October of this fall with a full report on the number of fields that the different user groups feel that they need in order to meet the current demand, and also kind of a plan of, we could put X number of fields here and whatnot. So, and I think once a draft of that report is out, I will share that with the Parks and Rec Commission.
Okay, and how's your accreditation coming along?
We're all working on different pieces. I shared, there's a draft of the sustainability policy, which hopefully you've all had a chance to look at and can offer some comments. I'm working on a bunch of different ones. We did get some bad news. Kathy Hoffman, who we had appointed to kind of pull all of the information together. For those of you that don't know who Kathy Hoffman is, she worked for the Parks and Recreation Department for 29 years. She retired a year and a half ago, and she's super organized and has a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge of the department. And she has accepted a full-time position starting at the end of July. So we are going to be looking for somebody else that can kind of step in and pull all of the information that Jerry and myself and Mary Jo and Eric Morrison we're pulling it together, and we're giving it to Kathy to kind of take all these pieces and put the whole puzzle together. And so she's gonna be with us through July, but come August, we're gonna be looking for somebody else we're looking now, but it's gonna be impossible to find somebody that can equally replace Kathy.
Wow.
Yeah. But good for her. She's going to work for her church full time, and so I think she's very excited, and good for her. Just bad for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Pratt Recreation Building.
Yeah. So, I mentioned last time there's 3 phases to that. Right now we're in phase 1, which is the needs assessment. And as of Monday, the firm that's doing the survey had received 270 mailed responses. Their target is 300 in order to be a statistically valid survey. I think they send out about 3,000. I'm certainly hoping that we get more than 300. I'd love to get 400. And there is for those of you that didn't get one in the mail, there's an online version, and that will be available probably sometime next week, and we'll share that information out, and there'll be a login, and you can go in and complete the survey. And when that's complete, the information from the mail-in survey, which is statistically valid because it was random addresses that were selected, that information will not be merged with the online survey, because the online survey will not be, we may have 300 online surveys, but they wouldn't necessarily be random, so it wouldn't be a statistically valid survey. So that information will not be merged, so they'll be looking at the results from both surveys separately.
Mark, I assume that the online survey is designed so that the one person can only enter once?
Yes.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you
To see
can't go
somebody who
in.
wanted.
Right. Someone could spend days filling out a survey because they had a particular agenda.
Right.
That is
right.
correct. Yes. Yeah. And then one of the other things that we're doing is the URL, the link that's going out is being coded. So the link on Facebook is going to be different than the link on like the town's webpage.
Mhm.
And that link is going to be different than what goes out on a bulk email like Constant Contact. And I think we have 5 or 6 different unique URLs. And we've also been in touch with Pfizer and Electric Boat and have made arrangements for the link to be shared both to the employees at Pfizer and Electric Boat, and there'll be unique URLs for both of those, so that we'll be able to look at all the data that was collected from those that responded from Pfizer and look at all the information that was collected from Electric Boat. So we're going to be able to analyze this information in a lot of different ways.
Great.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, moving right along. Any unfinished business? Okay, moves us to new business.
Okay, new business. So review of the draft sustainability plan. Again, this is for agency accreditation. It's one of the 151 standards. The town does not have a sustainability policy at this point. So I'm moving forward with creating one for our department, and then hopefully the town will catch up at some point and, you know, establish their own. I understand there is a sustainability committee that's been around for a while, but apparently they have not taken on the task of developing a policy. So this is a draft, and you know, we kind of laid out what our current practices are, what our policy is, what our goals are, and yeah. So that's I don't know if anyone's got any feedback for what we've put together so far. I am encouraged. I did want to say that right now, as part of the town's purchasing policy, there is no sustainability element. And I did speak with the purchasing director, and she was more than willing to incorporate into the next version of the purchasing manual a sustainability element. So I am working on that to have that added to the purchasing manual when it gets updated. And she thought that it would be added probably sometime this summer.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Mark, is this sustainability part of, is it working towards the accreditation?
it is. Yes. Yep.
Okay, I just have a question. There's so first of all, it's really well spelled out, so great job. The one part I either don't understand is in the it's on the first well, technically the second page after the table of contents. It says the town's purchasing manual states. Oh,
yeah.
is that what you were addressing? So, okay, that's where
Yeah,
she
so
did put something in there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I left that blank because I'm not exactly sure what the language is going to be. And it was just, I wanted to throw that in so that so that the commission was aware that we will be working on that, including sustainability as part of the purchasing manual.
Okay. Sorry, it took a long time for that to connect in my brain.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sorry that was so confusing.
Any
Okay.
other questions?
I have a question about on page 3, you talk about outreach, and I didn't
Yes.
quite understand what you were getting at there. Well, in terms of
Yeah. So
posting information, I didn't know.
right. So one of the things that part of the standard that they like to see is that there's an outreach component to your sustainability. So in other words, they want to know that they want to see what you're doing to let other people know about sustainability. So one of the things that we're doing now is the project management specialist who oversees the stormwater program for the public works. They don't have a lot of followers on Facebook, so they're using our Facebook page as a conduit to get information out about what the town is doing as far as sustainability.
So I think when you talk about posting information, you may want to get more specific and say that.
Okay.
I didn't know what was getting posted where. That's what had me.
Yeah, and what we will be doing is, as you can see, for a lot of the evidence of compliance, there is a link to a PDF, and we will be adding a link here to some of the Facebook posts that we've already put out, so that when the reviewer comes into town, they will read through this document, they'll be able to click on the link, and it will immediately bring them right to the example that we
Example, yeah.
mentioned in the document. Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any other questions or comments.
Just to, again, this goes back to my experience with these processes. On the action plan, and I realize this is an early draft, can you put in a projected target date or framework, time frame?
Oh, yep. Yeah, we can do that. Thank you.
That would strengthen, yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Election of officers. I think we did that last meeting.
Yeah, so, well, the next thing that I have is appointment of commission representatives to get. Oh, and I guess we should congratulate Angela on being the.
That's what happens when you miss meetings.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know
So,
better than that.
Yes, congratulations, Angela.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, the next agenda item is appointment of commission representative to the Golf Advisory Board. They meet 8 times a year on Monday nights at 7 o'clock. Typically, the meetings are at Spicer House. For the foreseeable future, it will be a Zoom meeting. And the Golf Advisory Board is, as the name states it, it's advisory. It's comprised, I think, mostly of members, mostly of residents, and they meet with the golf pro, myself, and the superintendent, and each month we have a different topic that we discuss, and we just, there's a representative from the men's club, a representative from the women's club, and they share information, things that they're hearing amongst the players, and offer suggestions. A lot of these folks play at different golf courses, so they can bring in a perspective, what they're seeing at other golf courses. And as I mentioned earlier, Jim used to be the representative from the Parks and Rec Commission, and since he stepped down, there's a vacancy that I'm hoping somebody will step up to fill.
I'm happy to do it. I just don't feel very qualified because I don't know anything about golf other than it's 15 holes.
Yeah, Angela, I don't think you need to know a lot of. You're pretty smart, and I don't think you need to know a lot about golf. I think,
Okay.
And in fact, I think that actually may be an asset. You bring a different perspective.
That's true. All right. Well, I'm happy to do it. If you can just send me all of the meeting, like when the next meeting is, and I'll make sure I get it on my calendar to block out that time.
Okay. Yeah. So the next meeting is not until September. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you've got the summer off. But maybe what I'll do is I'll send you the minutes from the last couple of meetings, just so that you can get an idea of the discussion and things like that.
Yes, please. That would be very helpful. Who knows? Maybe I'll take up golf over the summer.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
And can we get you a rate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
All right, next meeting date.
Right, so the next scheduled meeting is actually August 12th. We don't typically meet in July. That actually is the week that I'm going to be on vacation, so I would like to change that date, and I'm open to whatever works for a majority of the commission.
Said it would be August.
It would be August, so if we kept it on the same night, it would either be August 5th or August, I guess it could be the 19th, or if you push it out much later than that, we've got a meeting in September, so it would only be a couple of weeks between meetings. So
Can we do it in July instead?
yeah, we could. I don't know how that works for everybody.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
Well, that's
Not too
where
many of
I
us
am.
are.
In the hope
Okay.
that maybe
Well,
August things will be opened up
I'm
again.
optimistic that I am going to be away for vacation. All right, so July, oh, wait a minute.
July 8th.
How about the following week? Because just in case there's something people are doing for July 4th, I don't know which weekend people pick for July 4th to do stuff, the one before or the one after.
Okay, so July 15th?
Mhm.
Is that good?
Works for me.
That works for
Okay.
me.
Excellent. All right, so July 15th, we'll have a meeting, and then we will not have one in August. Okay. Perfect.
All right, well, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
So moved. Thank you very much, everyone.
All
Thanks.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. And I put a help ticket into Zoom, so hopefully next time my camera will work.
Okay.
Get that update.
Yeah. So, all right. Have a good night.
Good night,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
That's interesting.
much, everybody. I hope you have a good night this evening. Thank you very much for coming. Come on. We are here for your entertainment.
What? Wow.
Good.
Well, I haven't had any cramps for a while, but I have one right now.
Oh,
I've had it
in
for
your
like
foot?
5 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Very loud,
Yeah.
like they're deaf.
I will try to tone it down.
Right. I guess you just do it automatically. Kendall said when we were doing Zoom, that I was really loud. Oh, I'm talking so loud. Matthews concert are you listening to?
I don't know. It's a live thing right now.
Oh, it's live now?
Yeah.
Where is he?
I forget.
How did you know they were doing it?
I got an email.
From Dave?
Yeah. He said, yo, Mark, what's up?
You must have signed up for one of his fan clubs.
Well, either
You
that
just
or,
listen to him all the time and they.
yeah, right, Pandora and
Spotify.
Spotify. Okay, because I'll get emails like, hey, so-and-so's going to be in the area.
You came to watch something, I'm not watching.
Oh, I'm just trying to figure out this stupid Zoom. Hello, Precious. Or otherwise known as Kiwi. How are you? Huh? How are you? Oh, thank you for the kiss. Thank you for the kiss. Thank you for the kiss. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you for the kiss. Yes, that was very nice. Hmm. Huh. What the fuck? Oh. Hmm. Oh, fuck. Right side up, side. Ugh. Oh, jeez.